Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Rocket Monday, we're gonna talk about New Shepard. So let's dive right into it. Now, to understand New Shepard, you have to understand this was the first offering from Blue Origin. Blue Origin is a company that is older than SpaceX, made by Jeff Bezos and directly funded from him. And they are no longer focusing on, well, they were never focusing on actually getting the money because Jeff Bezos has the money. So that was the whole point. And the first service they wanted to offer is a basically ballistic trajectory. So they want to basically put you in a capsule that would be on top of a rocket and you will go above the carbon line. Basically, you will have experience zero G free fall for around 10 minutes maximum, and you're gonna be above the carbon line technically in space. So basically stars will start to appear again and sky will look black from that point of view, and you can see Earth as a round. So that can be done in ballistic trajectory. And one of the very key aspect of it is vertical takeoff and vertical landing. From day one, they are no longer focusing on just like throwing you off the system and then discard the rocket and build another rocket. No, from day one they were focusing on basically reusing the rocket. Think of it this way, at the same time when SpaceX was working, they are working on Falcon 1, which was not reusable. So they were very forward in their approach. Now this was a passenger service. From day one, it was not meant for throwing satellite into orbit. That's not its main aim. It's just passenger service. So let's talk about why they want to do this. You have to understand it this way. There is an effect that happens once you can see whole of Earth through your own eyes rather than seeing a photo from satellite or something like that. Once you actually see that, it causes what we classify as overview effect. Basically, it changes your perspective because Earth goes from like something that you study in school to something you actually see, and to actually realize that's all, the end, game over, all of humanity is in exact this spot. So fundamentally it changes people and for the better. So there is a lot of demand for people who have enough wealth, enough power to actually have this kind of effect. So they are much more kinder to our world, because again, if everybody thinks like just take care of me, and they do not understand we are sharing this goddamn world, it's not really good for everyone. So fundamentally you want to be in a position where you can take care of this situation. So there is a lot of marketing potential and good potential. It's not just like, okay, somebody making a lot of money. It's like somebody making a lot of money and changing people for the better. So that's double awesome. And a lot of people can afford it. Now be mindful, I'm classifying as a lot of people as in a lot of millionaires, not thankfully you don't have to be billionaire to afford this, but millionaires should able to do this. And there is another aspect of it, that's just like people's aspect, psychological aspect, very important, but just not related to space. But there is a lot of interesting application of this puppy as a test bed. What does that mean? That simply means, think of it this way: NASA designs her fluid system and they have to test it. Now NASA does have an aircraft that does 0G maneuvers but barely does for a few seconds. So fundamentally, if you're gonna tell them like, I'm gonna put your stuff in 0G environment for minutes and in high radiation environment which you can expose yourself once you cross a carbon line, they'll be like, shut up, take my money. So this is a very unique asset where NASA wants to do what we call test simulations, prototyping, everything, because the other alternative is actually go to orbit. So fundamentally this is a very good middle ground. So rather than expending millions of dollars, they can spend $1 million to do this system. So fundamentally there is a lot of demand of test bed technology. So this puppy can be a very good lab in space, like pseudo space, so to say. Now let's understand the system in bit more detail. It is BE3, basically Blue Origin number 3, and it runs on liquid hydrogen. Now, which is the core reason why it does not have too much power, why it can only goes to 100 rather than 200. Again, hydrogen, clean, awesome, efficient and all that jazz, but does not have the oomph. So it does not have the giant payload capacity, and it uses liquid oxygen. Pretty normal stuff. Now the engine is kind of unique here because the engine is what we call combustion tap off cycle. Now if you have watched all my previous videos, I have specified many times, is like you always have to have a gas generator that mixes propellant and oxidizer in unbalanced ratio, so it does not go complete stoichiometric ratio and to very high temperature exhaust. Here they are not doing that. Here they are literally tapping off 100% perfectly burnt high temperature exhaust now and directly feeding that into the turbine system of a turbo pump. Now benefit, removes the gas generator. Side effect, that turbine now has to be much higher quality, otherwise it will simply melt, because again the temperature is much higher. Now they did that, it does work, again the rocket does fly. And what did they gain for this kind of odd approach? Because it's an open cycle, so it's not efficiency. The benefit is they have very good deep engine throttle, and you can see that, like you can truly see the magnificence of this engine system, that there is only one engine, and somehow they managed to successfully land more than 12 times at this point in time. And when you see the landing, it's surprisingly delicate. It's like It's like, I got this, I got this, I got this, I can take care of this. So that's all happening with one engine, not three. And it's no longer like whoosh and hope that you land and your landing legs can absorb the shock. It's very gentle. And the sole reason that's even possible is because computer have a control range where there's like, okay, little bit throttle. So its throttle is rather than like, 59%, 60%, 61% is like 59.5%, 59.52%. There's a lot of control there. So it does have its own unique advantage for going to what we classify as combustion tap-off cycle. It is an open system, so it's not as efficient as space shuttle system, but it does have its own advantage. Now let's understand the timeline. Now this company is older than SpaceX, so you have to understand when did they actually started to do first actual full-scale real test. That happened in 29 April 2015. Now it was quote unquote partial successful because everything went up and the capsule landed successfully. However, the booster landing kind of failed, so it was classified as partial success. However, after that they have done multiple tests, and at this point in time they have done 13 tests, and 12 of them, removing the first one, has been thoroughly successful. They're surprisingly good at it in terms of like repeatability. It's like, if we're gonna do this, it happens, no boom bam bam. So that's really good for them, and all of them are very successful. That's a really good approach from their point of view. However, their main selling point was by 2017 they announced 17 and 18 that they're actually gonna take service passenger, because by that time they have done enough testing. It's like we're gonna take the service passenger service by 2019. However, that did not happen, and the fact that the world went boom in 2020, it's not gonna happen in 2020, and their data point is specifying in 2021, which again there is a very good chance it might get delayed even further. Now, no talk of space. Basically, Blue Origin is complete without SpaceX, because you have to do what we call a reality check. So reality is check is SpaceX beat it in every single regard, every single one of them, because you have to understand SpaceX is cheaper. They do not have the funding of Blue Origin, and they are quicker because they started later and they achieved further. Fundamentally, they are much farther ahead than Blue Origin. As a company, if you compare them, it's not even comparable. It's not even in the same race. It's like, dude, you are barely doing what we call ballistic trajectory. Forget about orbit, and we are like basically taking NASA astronauts, and NASA has certified the system. Basically, NASA, after the accident of space shuttle, they were very thorough with testing. They're like, dude, we have to be damn sure, on top of damn sure, to be absolutely damn sure that nothing bad's gonna happen. And this system stood the test of so to say missions, and successfully carried 2 astronauts back and forth, and it got the designation of crew 1. Now that one number is very important because it's no longer a prototype, it's a real deal. It's like, here's the system, we are using it. So fundamentally, if something bad happens, hopefully that will not happen, something bad happen, this system will not be cancelled. It will be like, let's figure it out what bad happened. It's like, airplane systems right now, it's very efficient, like 99.99% chance you will land safely, but sometime boom event does happen. But if that happens, people try to figure it out what happened rather than ground the service. So fundamentally, they're much further ahead. Even though it started with much lower budget, even though they had fewer years, so to say, they have developed on a ludicrous pace. Like, it's not even comparable. It's like SpaceX is like kind of matching the NASA's original working speed there NASA had during the Apollo project. So fundamentally, they're on a whole different level. And one thing you have to understand, no matter how much money Jeff Bezos has, money can't buy time. Fundamentally, that's one limiting factor that you cannot account for, cannot compensate for. And I was watching a lot of video, and some person said like, because apparently they knew a friend who worked in what we call Blue Origin, they said they have a lot of talent issue. Now it was and some guy created a very detailed, like a very giant detail article why the heck that is. And he said like, I worked in this college and university, and everybody wanted to go to two companies, SpaceX and Tesla. Why is that? PR department. Blue Origin is absolutely secret about every goddamn thing. Like, we're not gonna tell you what we are working on. Like, why the heck anybody would want to join you? Like, this is the same mistake what Indian space organization does. It's like, even though they are doing good things, nobody wants to join them. It's like, dude, I don't know what it is. And once you see the footage, you're like, dude, how the heck you got interlaced camera in 2020? So you get the point. Like, PR department is important, specifically if you want to hire talent. People have to see that you are doing good work, and they want to join in the effort. And SpaceX has no issue of that. SpaceX is like, we have vacancy, cream of the cream of the cream of the cream. They get that. So fundamentally, there is a talent issues also at this point in time. So they cannot claw back. Like, there is a lot of bad events have to happen for SpaceX in order to them to fall back and Blue Origin to come back, because fundamentally game is over. Now they're not going to be kicked out of the race because there is not that many other competitor, but yeah, it's a game over kind of scenario for them because money can't buy time. So this was my presentation on basically new Shepard. I hope you liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.